Why are the Ibadan train terminals so far away from the city? I recently traveled from Ibadan to Lagos using the train for the first time. Here's my experience. I traveled for what felt like a really long time because it was from Ibadan city center to the train station. When we got to the train station, we realized that we couldn't pay cash and we had to register online on the NRC platform and pay online. We eventually did that just in time to make the train. On this trip, I would be in the economy class with my friend Ruro, and I'll be taking you on what it feels like to experience this for the first time or the next time. You might have read it before in different classes. If you're making this trip, I'm going to advise you to buy your tickets beforehand online and register, because when you get there, you might not have enough time. I think entrance into the terminal closes maybe 15 or 30 minutes before the train moves, and they are very strict on that. As expected, the train moved right on time and we were on our way out of the train station. It was my first time on this train, and I wondered why it has taken me so long. We traveled for a few minutes and we stopped at the second Ibadan terminal to pick up passengers. We couldn't get window seats, so throughout this journey we had to move seats a lot because sometimes you might see that a seat is taken a small section, maybe from Lagos to Abeokuta, and then from Abeokuta to Lagos it's empty. The leg room is amazing, no questions about that. I'm not a particularly tall person, around 176, but there is more than enough leg room for even the tallest among us. The charging spots work, I'm happy about that, and you can do a bit of work on your way to Lagos or Ibadan. Seeing this work and seeing this train still work as good as it does years after its inception fills me with so much joy and so much hope. I'm a bit of a train nerd myself, but it's amazing to see that this can be done in Nigeria, and I can't wait. Maybe I can, but I cannot wait for the day that the train finally gets extended, connecting Lagos and Abuja via rail. You do not need to brave the roads anymore, and you are not forced to fly when you are going between Lagos and Abuja. But that's conversation for the future. I got a bit of work done on this trip. During this trip, I was still in the process of starting this YouTube channel, so I was editing my very first video, and if you haven't seen it, you should probably go and see it, even though I don't think it's a really good video. Throughout the trip, I was a bit lost for words because I know how much we've gone through as a country to get to where we are. And we're not still where we need to be in terms of infrastructure, but being on this train, even after seeing it via other people's posts and all, is still an amazing experience, and it's surreal. It's a bit unbelievable. After about an hour plus of traveling, we pulled into the first Abeokuta station. I might be wrong, but I think it's the Wole Soyinka station, and we picked up some people. I couldn't make videos after that because I had to move back to my original seat, which was an aisle seat, and our pictures or our content isn't really like amazing. But I got a bit of the interiors. I don't know if there's an onboard restroom because I did not use it, but looking back, I probably should have asked. During the trip, there was a sort of, would I call it onboard service, but you could buy food, you could buy snacks, you could buy drinks, you could buy whatever you wanted during the trip, and it was an amazing way to make the most of the experience. I don't know what the reality is in business class or first class, but you could buy whatever they were selling on board, and I thought having something like that was going to be disorderly, but it was done in an orderly manner, and there was sense of community and orderliness. When we pulled into Lagos, you do not need to be told that you're in Lagos. For better or for worse, Lagos is very peculiar, maybe for the wrong reasons, but when I pulled into Lagos, I knew that I was in Lagos. Nobody needed to tell me. From the smell, the look, the feel, you just knew that you were in Lagos. So we slowly pulled into the first station in Lagos, and at this point, people were dropping off more frequently than they had. Nigerians will never stop living, working, and crossing railways, and it's something that might never be fixed, to be honest, because these railways usually cross between major arteries in the city. We slowly made our way towards the final station in Ebutemeta. To me, it's low-key in Yaba, but if you say Ebutemeta, who am I to argue? It had just rained a lot in Lagos. Seeing Lagos from this point of view is always an humbling experience, because you know how much the city does for the country, and you know how much more the city could do, but it's just so painful to say that Lagos is not the symbol of cleanliness or symbol of progress that we want it to be. Throughout the experience, I was in a bit of a mental quagmire because my team, Manchester United, unfortunately dropped a 3-0 lead in the FA Cup against Coventry City. Throughout the trip, I just could not enjoy myself because I'm going 3-0 up, we're 3-1, 3-2, 3-3, and then Coventry scored 4-3. I was like, yo, how do I survive on Twitter today with all my enemies are going to drag me? And as God will have it, a questionable VAR call was made and we ended up winning. It was a shitty experience, and it created a bit of camaraderie on board because there were Man U fans fans following the game. There were non-Man U fans bantering us, making fun of us, and even though they did not get as far as we did, we eventually won the FA Cup, but it was a fun experience. I got to see the proposed Lagos Red Line for the first time, the trains on the red lines for the first time, and I would like to see it start very soon, even though I think the way the train stations in the Lagos Metro were designed isn't really optimal, especially during rainy season, but the classic Nigerian way of doing things, better this than nothing. We finally arrived on time and we got off the train in an orderly manner. It's always good to see Nigerians act right, and when we got out, it was an amazing experience for me because I had gone through this from beginning to end without any sort of issues, and as much as I want to find lapses or I want to find faults, I cannot in all honesty fault the operations of the NRC. The Ebute Meta terminal is great, but it has a very convoluted design. You arrive on ground level, then you walk up a flight of stairs, then you walk on a skyway, and you finally get to the other side where you have to walk down. I don't know if there are escalators or lifts to make it more accessible to the general public, but it's great for people that can walk, and it's an amazing experience. Finally got to the end, which was like a trip on its own, and here I am walking home. There's a sense of finality going through this journey for the first time, and just knowing that this might as well be the beginning of an amazing experience, an amazing journey for rail transport in Nigeria. Even if it doesn't make sense to you when you are going to Ibadan, maybe it takes you away from your route, I think everybody should at the very least make this journey once each way to experience what Nigeria can be if we all hold our government accountable and we force them to serve us better.